BMO and Porter came out with a suite of MasterCard, and by suite we mean two particular MasterCards right off the back. One was what I'm calling the regular MasterCard, and the other one was a World Elite flavor. So two cards that they came out with. Uh, Good welcome bonuses. One of the highlights of the announcements was obviously the fact that they became the first co-branded card that gets you in on that status right away. So as soon as you sign up, no spend required, none of the other things needed. As long as you have been approved for the card, you get a status. The World Elite card pegs you right in the middle of the pack there. So venture membership, so VIP venture membership, which obviously pegs you, sort of is, for a lack of better context, is kind of like the 50K of that Star Alliance world, right? So that's where they're giving you sort of right off the approval of the card, which is great. Dahlia says not yet, but don't want to miss out on the 10K waitlist offer. Yes, so for those of you that had signed up, and by the announcement, about more than 30,000 people had signed up for the waitlist and were eagerly waiting for the announcement. And the announcement came through last week. And from what I've heard, folks have been getting emails with April 11th or April 10th, thereabouts, as their initial deadline to apply for the card from the waitlist to lock in your 10,000. The good news is that the additional 10,000 points that you get for being on the waitlist is not tied to any spends or anything like that. As long as you get approved for the card, you are getting that additional 10,000 along with the welcome bonuses, which are structured. And we'll talk a little bit about that structure. So for the context of this community, let's keep our focus on the premium card, which is the World Elite version. Well, first things first, how many of you, like me, absolutely love the card itself because the mascot made its way on the card? I think it's one of the funnest airline cards out there. I'm so glad that they BMO and Porter have decided to break away from the boring card art, and they have the cute mascot on it, which I think just for that, I would want something like that in my wallet. I'm just saying. I mean, if having a metal card is cool enough, I think having that mascot on the card is cooler and nicer, and something that I would love to pull out and as a conversation piece, as opposed to simply having a metal card, which also, I don't want to deride all of the other cards, but this metal card business has gone too much. Every second, third card is a metal card now. Every second, third premium card in Canada is a metal card. But having your mascot on the card is primo in my mind. So well done to BMO and Porter on bucking that trend as well, on having boring cards given to members. Why not have that fun mascot on it? So right off the back, that's my biggest takeaway. Fantastic card itself, the look-wise. So eligibility of the World Elite Premium card is not unlike other World Elites that we've seen. So minimum annual income, personal income, $80,000, and household income of $150,000 is required to get that approval. The annual fee obviously is waived for both of those cards in the first year, which is fantastic. And for the World Elite card, after your first year, it's $199 for primary card holders and $75 for secondary card holders. And of course, the welcome bonus is up to 70,000 points, and you get the additional 10,000 if you were on the wait list. So World Elite card, I'll quickly go through this and then I'll take the comments. I see the comments are getting busy, very quick. So let me talk about this. So what they've done with these high sort of welcome bonus offers, they're also pegging it to spend requirements. And the spend requirements are by no means easy. They are hefty spend requirements. So since we're talking about the World Elite card, at that 3 months, so they've given it markers almost, so 3 month mark, 6 month mark, or 12 month mark. And at each period, you have to have a minimum spend to be able to get these chunks of points. So the first $5,000 spend will get you 20,000 points. The next, not the next, $9,000 will get you additional 20,000 points and a companion pass. And you'll also get the 1,000 qualifying status boost within the program, which is good. And then at the 12-month mark, which is a 1 full year mark, you'll get the additional 30,000 points as long as you've met the $18,000 requirement. Now, that's steep, is my initial and honest reaction, because you have to spend $18,000 on that World Elite card to be able to get your full haul of 70,000 points, plus the companion pass, plus your 1,000 qualifying status. Of course, like I mentioned before, just getting an approval on the card gets you the VIP Porter Venture membership, which is mid-tier membership, slightly higher than mid-tier membership. So yeah, the spend requirements are a bit steep, but the earned rates are very, very impressive because they're giving you that venture membership right off the back. You could earn as much as 9 points for every dollar you spend on Porter flights. And I've mentioned this before, for me at least, and I know Sash and some of us that travel regularly, Porter has quickly become our secondary airline, particularly for positioning and things like that. So I can definitely see myself spending a few $1,000s on Porter if I had to, and the ability to earn 6 points or even 9 points on each dollar spent on Porter flights is perhaps the strongest in terms of dollar value associated to your currency in Canada right now compared across airlines, which is fantastic. Uh, and part of that sort of additional benefits that you also get is with the Elite World Elite card, you obviously will get your dedicated airport check-ins, priority security, early boarding, and all of those, including one complimentary check bag, carry-on bag, even when you're purchasing basic economy fare and a complimentary seat selection. So fairly well-rounded if you're spending that much on the card. Actually, this card after your first year, I'm not sure if you mentioned, after the first year is $199. So you have to think about that as well. If you're thinking long run, then $199 will sort of still get you all of these, including keeping your status and getting all of these priority services. And you obviously, with this card, for every $25 you spend on the card, you get $1 towards your status, which is good, which is qualifying spend towards your status. And if you're a really high spender on this card and you can meet the 50,000 annual requirement on the card, that'll fetch you another round trip companion pass at that $0 base fare, plus taxes and fees, of course. So there's that. And then a good insurance coverage. So in a nutshell, that's what the card is bringing you. I'm going to take, before I talk about sort of immediate sort of reactions. Let's hear from the comment section here. There's quite a few, so bear with me as I go through them. And there says, time for you to get the Black Centurion now, the most metal and boring earned rate. Yeah, Raminder is commenting on my sort of reaction on every card being a metal card. Uh, yeah, Dahlia continues and says, I strongly dislike metal cards, heavy and hard to dispose. Alex says, agreed, they take up more space in my wallet, not a big deal, but when you rotate a few credit cards, the more you can carry without having to change cards every few days makes a difference. Alex goes on to say, for someone who never uses Porter, is it worth getting the card to use the points on Alaska or other partner? I suppose they don't transfer to any partners. No, Alex, I can confirm airline points transferring to other airline points is not a thing in the industry right now. I don't think that'll ever be a thing in the industry. But what you can use the Porter points is to redeem on Air Transat and, of course, redeem on combination of Porter and Alaska itineraries if you wanted to use it. Just confirming that you will not be able to use Porter points on standalone Alaska flights because they're still only working on interline agreements. So it has to be a combination of Porter plus Alaska. You won't be able to do standalone Alaska flights. That said, soon enough, you'll be able to also combine Hawaiian Airlines. That's still on the roadmap. You'll be able to do that. I did ask Brian, the program director, if there was any down the line, if there were any plans of maybe even converting BMO points into uh, Porter points, would that be possible? Or what Heather alluded to, will Porter ever be available with the Bonvoy transfer programs? And for both of those things, they said it's not off the table, it's in the roadmap, but they're still only looking at the next few months and that first year as they announce this card. So the benefits are purely tied into that first year acquisition, and we'll see more and more program benefits being rolled out. Again, program benefits, not card benefits, program benefits being rolled out, which will make earning points and redeeming points a lot more valuable within the Porter ecosystem. Heather, reacting to Alex's statement, says, "That's where I'm at. I'm unlikely to fly Porter domestically in the next year." Said is here, Cedric, I think, said is here and says, "I've seen Montreal to Vancouver for 8,000 points on Porter. It can be really good deal, to be honest." Yeah, and Cedric, that sort of complements what I said. On the day of the card release, I was doing a whole bunch of these searches, and each of those searches sort of showed me plenty of availability on Porter Classic seats at that under 10,000, which is why I said if you are on that wait list, you are better off applying for that card directly from that wait list to lock in your additional 10,000 points at this point. If Raminder is asking, can this venture membership be used for status match on other airlines? I don't see why not. But I think the program will have to mature a little bit before you see other airlines. I mean, and how airlines is now tweaking it and making it very specific. So you have to have certain status level with specific airlines before they let you match. So I think over time, as Porter's own program matures, we will see other programs honor the status level directly as well. So it might be good for status match, but very hard to say at this point because status matches no longer tend to be very open. They're becoming a little more specific and targeted. So from that point of view, hard to comment on it for right now. Anyways, I had a chance to sit down with Brian and I asked him a couple of things, and we in fact opened up questions for our Discord members as well. And everybody wrote in. So a couple of good questions in there that I was able to pose through. So one of the first one was the companion pass. There was a lot of questions and conversations around that companion pass. So first thing was I did ask him, so if you look at that structure of spend, first 5,000 earns you 20,000 points, then 9,000, so additional 4,000, so 9,000 points earns you 20,000 points plus companion pass plus the status boost. However, the next 9,000, which is the 18,000 mark, only gives you, well, quote unquote, only gives you 30,000 additional points without giving you a companion pass or any status boost. So I asked them why that additional 9,000 at the latter half doesn't come with other perks and benefits like status qualifying boost and such. And Brian acknowledged that, yes, they were looking at it purely from a points perspective, and that additional 9,000 was typically geared towards current Porter members who already spend heavily on Porter Metal. So it was really acknowledging their engagement into the program with just points. And they wanted to keep the threshold of the companion pass and the status boost at that mid tier because they knew that more people will reach that 9,000 spend as opposed to 18,000 spend. But they just wanted to add that additional spend requirement, that additional 9,000 requirement towards the end for those really engaged members that are already spending that kind of money on Porter. And he made it very clear that the World Elite card particularly was targeted at those existing Porter customers, the frequent flyers within the program itself. That 18,000 spend card was never targeted towards somebody that only takes one or two Porter flights in a year. It wasn't meant to convince them to come on to Porter. That particular card and that particular spend threshold was specifically for folks that were highly engaged already within the program for them to continue to be engaged and yield high earn rates. Because don't forget, as you're spending on this card at that level of 18,000, between 9,000 to 18,000, you're more likely to be spending on Porter Metal as well. So you'll be earning a lot more points through those high earn rates as well. So anyways, the other question was around companion pass because the Porter program itself. So now I'm talking not about the BMO card, but I'm talking about the Porter program, the Avid Traveler program itself. If for every $3,000 you spend on Porter Metal, Porter already gives you a companion pass, which is good for a $0 base fare plus taxes and fees. So the companion pass that you're earning in that Porter program is the same companion pass that you're getting for spending $9,000 on the credit card too. So there's no difference there. And they acknowledge that while other programs in the market now allow you to cover taxes and fees. So a nudge to WestJet that have recently allowed that through their WestJet points. Soon enough will become WestJet points from WestJet dollars. So they acknowledge that while while it's not available right now for you to cover taxes and fees through Porter points, it's not off the table and it may be coming soon. They did not give me any dates or timelines, but Brian was able to confirm that that's something that is on the roadmap for Porter. So maybe a few months down the line, or maybe a year from now, you will be able to use your Porter points to cover those taxes and fees. But for now, you have to pay for those taxes and fees because these companion passes are $0, so no copay required. But and the companion pass, of course, is network wide for all flights, no blackout dates whatsoever. So you could even use these companion passes at $0 copay, $0 base fare rates in the busiest times, in the busiest travel seasons as well. So I think there's definite value in that. And likewise, on the other standard Mastercard, when you're making those spends, you on the card, you are also getting an equivalent of, I think, 45% off voucher for base fares for up to four passengers, which is very valuable. And then Brian was able to confirm that yes, while Porter has had some sales in the past which are up to 35% off on base fares, they've never had anything close to 40 or even 45%. And these are flat rate 45% off. These are not up to 45% off, and these vouchers apply to any flight, no sort of blackout dates and such. So again, very valuable, even if you have the regular card and are able to make enough spend for you to earn that 45% off on the voucher. So clearly driving that these are meant for people that are spending enough money for them to be able to bring their family on and get real value from Canadians that are choosing Porter. Before I take more comments and ask you a question, I think both cards have strong features. And my advice would be to go ahead and make use of that. Like I said, if you are in the markets that Porter already flies, or if you think that you'll be able to make use of Porter flights in the next year or so, get either of the cards. They're very strong right now with no annual fees, and especially if you were already signed up on that waiting list. So strong offers up to 50,000 if you were on the wait list for the regular card, and up to 80,000 points if you were on the wait list for the World Elite card and are able to make those spends happen for you. So very strong in that. Obvious question for all of you. Heather has already pointed out her reservations on as to why she won't be signing up for this card just yet. What's stopping you from getting this card right away? Dahlia says the earned rates for non-Porter spend is pretty bad. Agreed. Dahlia, I did ask that question. And while I mean, it's not out of character for a BMO card, to be honest. It's not like BMO cards in general have had very strong earned rates on, say, groceries, this, that, and the others. Even some of their strongest cards that advertise 5x points, each point has its own value. And I think 2x or even 3x Porter points are not the same as, say, a 2x on an Aeroplan card or a 2x on somewhere else. What's the approximate value of one Porter point? 1.5 is what I heard Brian say a couple of times. So I think that's what they are looking at, that they're trying as much as possible to get you at least 1.5 cents per point kind of value. So right now we'll peg that market value as 1.5. If I'm not mistaken, a few others, perhaps Rewards Canada, also pegged it at 1.5. And I heard Brian mention that in our conversation as 1.5 a few times as their benchmark. So that's what we'll stick to. Right. Christian says, to my question, what's stopping you from getting that card right now? Christian simply says, high spend. Mike says, it's Porter. And yes, I think the beauty of Porter Airlines is they know who they are. And like, I'm not taking a jibe at you, Mike. Fair comment. And I think fair comment for everybody that doesn't want to travel Porter right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm a big Porter fan. I'll continue to fly them. I will. I haven't yet gotten my card, but I will at some point in the next few days, as soon as I've caught up with enough of my work and caught up with my health. That's the first thing on the docket to do. Cedric says, I fly out of Montreal very often, and the timing with the Via Rail train to get to the airport usually has me there 5 or 6 hours before my flight, so lounge access is important. But if somebody can, I think that would be the next progression for Porter cards or for Porter program to allow some kind of lounge access to some of these people that are willing to spend $18,000 on a World Elite card. Alex says, not being in Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto makes using Porter harder. I haven't looked recently, but as far as I can tell, for anyone in Western Canada wanting to fly to the US, they have to book two separate flights, one to get to one of these hubs and then other south elsewhere. The Porter charge for each segment separately, plus the layover was not nice. If they can fix that and optimize timing, it might be worth it for folks outside of these three hubs, which is Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto. The above checks was done about a year ago. Things might have changed since then. I have a week to figure things out. Yeah, I can tell you that it has changed a lot since the last year, Alex. Alex, right? Yes. So take a look. Porter now connects all of the 10 provinces in Canada, albeit, of course, the highest density of flights is going to be between that Quebec City, Toronto corridor. And by that, I mean the three hubs that have been spoken about, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, both Billy Bishop as well as Pearson. But we are now seeing them flying into Hamilton. We are now seeing in Ontario, that is pretty every single province out east. So if you're looking to head out east for your summer vacation plans, and including most major big cities out west as well. But point well taken. If you compare their schedules and itineraries, especially in Western Canada, compared to Air Canada or WestJet, there's a lot of catching up to do. But point well made. I hadn't sort of thought about the fact that for for folks flying out of Western Canada, you often have to take more than one flight, and Porter charges for each segment. So your redemption value drops pretty quickly out of that, as opposed to flying on direct flights, one segment flights, where the value tends to be a lot higher, which is exactly what we were pointing out with those Ottawa, Toronto to Vancouver segments. Mike says no harm. They have great routes and service, but small seats. Really? You think there are smaller seats, Mike? Oh, I think you're comparing Porter Reserve to premium cabins. Don't, because that's apples and oranges. You have to compare Porter Classic seats with economy seats, regular economy seats in other airlines, and Porter Reserve seats with premium economy seats on the other airline. And from what I have seen, Porter Reserve seats are just as good, if not better, than most premium economy seats that fly domestically around or fly within North America. But just don't, I mean, it's difficult to compare Porter Reserve seats to a business class or other seats because they're not business class seats. Their Porter Reserve seats are more akin to premium economy seats if you had to compare one to one. So just, you know, make sure that you're comparing apples to apples. Goldie says, has the bonus award, sorry, Goldie is asking, has the bonus award spend gotten out of hand in Canada? I find the amounts to be very high. And Raminder reacts to that comment by saying, absolutely, these guys have gotten smarter and often we are the ones advising them. We equal to people like us. And I think I'm going to lean on that comment from Raminder. The answer to that is yes. The answer is yes. They have gotten higher. Have they gotten out of hand? I don't think so. I don't think they've gotten out of hand, Goldie. I'll tell you why. Because they've just gotten better. Both airlines, especially credit card industry, have understood that Canadians are willing to put more and more spend on their credit cards for more and more points. The loyalty program space is no longer what it used to be 10 years ago. Post-COVID, every should I use that term? I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but every Tom, Dick, and Harry and their dog wants in on the loyalty program side of things, wants in on points, wants in on redemptions, is because this community has drummed up the value for so long and done so well in doing that, as well as credit card companies and airlines have drummed it up so well that more and more Canadians, more and more just people around the globe are finding value in having some kind of loyalty program portfolio within their travel plans. And the more that happens and the more companies have realized that Canadians are willing to spend more on these credit cards, they have upped it. And at the same time, don't forget, they are very upfront right now. And I'll tell you this, every executive I've spoken to about their co-brand credit card has openly spoken to me about credit card churning in Canada, in the US, across the globe, but particularly in North America, has spoken about churning square on. And they're taking it square on simply because they're building those attrition and acquisition costs in these spend categories. So they fully understand that there is a percentage of people out here vis-a-vis this community and lots more that are outside that are not on this call, of course, and outside that will be churning cards for value and benefit. So they're like, you know what? You really want to churn? I can't stop you from fully churning at all times. I can slow down your pace so you're seeing lifetime languages being put into cards, but at the same time, more than that lifelong language being put in and implemented, we are seeing the spend requirements being spiked up significantly, such that those costs of attrition rates and costs of acquisition of a customer that may be churning them is built into that spend. So rather than making you spend just $5,000 for all the benefits and then you hopping onto the next card or sock drawing their card, they're saying, hey, if you're going to do that, why don't you spend 10,000? I'm going to give you a few more points. And guess what? This community and others are willing to spend 10,000, willing to spend 20,000, willing to engage in cards that uh, have a carrot dangling in that month 13, or think about Amex cards that have a significant chunk of their welcome bonuses assigned for active card activity in month 14 to month 17. So they clearly understand what some people are doing, and they have built in the cost of that acquisition and cost of attrition rates into their spend modules. I don't think they've gotten out of hand, but I am fully in agreement with Raminder's comment is companies have gotten smarter and are the ones that are really reaping the benefits of folks wanting to spend more and get more value out of these cards. Cedric also comes in and says, I think for an airline smaller than WestJet and Air Canada, they're really pushing the bigger two and have a better service overall. Free Wi-Fi, free alcohol, premium snacks. It's great. Yeah, fully agree. Yeah, and Raminder quickly points out front and back. Christian says, if you were making the card your primary driver for the year, it wouldn't be too hard to hit this, but of course we are different. Yeah, for sure. I think and this came up as well, this idea of having a primary and a secondary card. And Brian said something that took me by surprise. Again, I'm talking about my conversation with the director of loyalty program at Porter, Brian Schreiber. He said, yeah, he acknowledged that, yeah, they understand that not everyone that is going to sign up for this card will use this card as their primary card, which is why they wanted to keep the better benefits and value at that mid-tier level, which was a 9,000 spend as opposed to 18,000. So they didn't want some of these additional perks like status boost or extra companion pass to be at that 18,000 level, is because they understand that a lot of the people right now, given where Porter is, are going to use these cards as their secondary card, or an airline that is a secondary airline in your loyalty portfolio. Right. Great points, great conversations as usual, folks. Let's close this one out. I'm impressed with myself that I have gone through this without going into a sneeze fest or coughing my lungs out. So thank you for bearing with me as I took long pauses to have my drink and cough on the side.